Welcome to day 5 of our play along video for our January challenge, Karen Marshall Say's arrangement of this music from Sky. And up till yesterday we were working on the first piece in the set, An Old Sky Air, and today you've been introduced to JaNEWary, which is this second piece in the set, Maiden Fond of Mirth. And what I'm going to do is we're going to take it at this slower speed, and I'm going to play just today's section, and then at that same slower speed I'm going to lead it in from the last few bars of An Old Sky Air, and then we'll do the whole thing up to the sort of more accurate speed. So starting at the top of this second page on the learning that we've done today, and we'll do this at a slower speed, so we'll go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. It's actually quite hard doing that below speed to get the same effect with our semi-quaver notes. But that's okay. So now we're going to go back to, I'm going to go back and do the last 3 bars of our previous page, the Old Sky Air. Starting at bar 16, I'll play 16, 17, 18, and then it's a real feel about how it moves into this piece. So try and stick with me if you can. So I'm going back, and of course, even though I'm taking everything slower, the slow air should be slower than our JaNEWary piece. So here we go. This is starting at bar 16 of An Old Sky Air. 3 and 4 and. Okay, now I'm going to play today's learning more up to speed. It's roughly a crotchet equals 70 beats per minute. So it is that little bit faster than our Old Sky Air. So I'll do that up to speed, and then we'll go back to the same place, bar 16, up to speed, and go through so that we have that transition between the two. So starting at the top of the page today, with what we've learnt earlier on today. 3 and 4. Going back to bar 16 of An Old Sky Air, doing those last 3 bars and then leading into this. And remember, An Old Sky Air is a little bit slower, but we are doing this up to the speed marked. So we're going to do this roughly a crotchet equals 60. And then as we do the transition, we'll be that little bit faster again. So bar 16, the work that we did yesterday. 3 and 4 and. Okay, so if you're doing a play along, we'll end that there. If you'd like some more technical help with today's work, so we had those left-hand harmonics. So I'll just go a little bit slower in my explanation on those. There's 3 different ways you can play them. You can play them as you would a right-hand harmonic if you wish. So the key thing about harmonic is that you're applying pressure to the string at the halfway point. Now the halfway point is from where it comes through the soundboard at the bottom of your harp to where it meets either the levers at the top of your harp or the bridge pin. And the reason it's either, it depends whether your lever is on or not. If your lever is on the string, then that's the top of your string in terms of its length and the sound it's making. So the two notes that we've got to do our harmonics on are the A just below middle C, and for me that's got a lever on, and then the G, one note lower, and for me that hasn't got a lever on, so that might impact on where my exact halfway point is. Now a right hand harmonic would be you apply pressure with your knuckle on the halfway point, and this is something that you'll eventually feel where that is, and this is why some people, all of us, can accidentally miss harmonics sometimes when we haven't quite got that halfway point. So there it is there. So you apply the pressure with your knuckle, you pluck with your thumb above it, and then you be sure to pull away from the string so that you're allowing the string to vibrate. There you go. So my A halfway point is there, and my G halfway point is actually there, fractionally higher, even though it's a lower string, because we've got the sort of exponential element of the harp soundboard going lower and the harmonic curve at the top going higher, the shape of the harp, physical shape of the harp, but also because of the difference between the A having a lever on and the G not having a lever on, so it has that impact. So that is the way a right hand would play those harmonics, but they're written in the left hand. You can, if you want, do the identical pattern with that left hand, as I've just shown you with the right. It wouldn't work for all of the bass notes, so generally people usually find one way of playing left hand harmonics that suits them and then sticks with it no matter where they are, really, unless they're ridiculously high. But it's useful to know that right hand way can work on the left hand if you're still on non-metal strings and you're sort of relatively near the middle or higher up on the harp. The other way that we do it with the left hand is to use either the side to apply the pressure to the string, and then you pluck above it, and I make a sort of cup shape, and remember to release your hand away, or you can use the sort of soft fleshy bit at the base of your thumb, this part here, and apply pressure onto the string with that and pluck above. And again, I have a sort of curly cup shape to the hand, which helps sort of create almost like a chamber for the sort of sound to resonate in a bit as well. So those are the two sort of ways. Now I'll play it with my left hand. That's using the side, or if I use my thumb, you see how if it's the side my hand looks like that, and if I'm using the base of my thumb my hand looks like that. Still a curvy shape, but the physical look from over there looks like that instead of this. Both of those will work. To show you it in the right hand, this isn't how you do right hand ones, but I'm doing it so that you can see through the strings to what I'm talking about. So you pretend this is my left hand, you damp it with the side and pluck above like that, and you have a nice sort of cup, or you do it with the base of the thumb, same point that you're aiming for, and you pluck above. Okay, and what you can do to make sure you hit these is, it works best with a biro, and this is only if you feel happy doing this. I'll do it with pencil now. Pencil actually rubs off the second you first use it. But if you locate where it is your thumb has to hit the string, you can just mark that string with a little line where you want your thumb to do it. Up to you whether you do this or not, and it's done at your own risk. I'm using gut strings, and it comes off very quickly on gut strings and doesn't cause any harm to them. I haven't tried it on other strings, so it's up to you if you want to do that, but it just gives you that aim point, and then I know if I'm aiming with my thumb there, the rest of my hand in the correct position, I will actually always hit those harmonics. So that is a little cheat for getting those. The other technical element in this section, and I've talked about it in the teaching video, but just to give you a bit more sort of headspace to think about it, is this semiquaver followed by a dotted quaver, 16th note followed by a dotted 8th note, talking in American terms there. So we want to create the effect. You can be very mathematical about that and say, okay, the first note is quarter of that beat and the second note needs to last 3/4 of that beat. And if this were a classical piece of music, you would need to do that. You need to be really firmly accurate. That one needs to last exactly 1/4 of a beat, and the other one needs to be 3 times longer because it's 3/4 of a beat, and it needs to be very mathematical. Because this is a folk piece, it's more that's the best way to write it, but actually what we want is a da-dum. It's almost like it's a grace note, apart from this grace note isn't happening before the beat, it's on the beat. Okay, so I have to think now on my notes. And the other technical element is doing this 3/2 to get that 3/2, the double D, 3/2. So as I play my 3, my 2 is nearby, ready to jump straight on. So it's not all firmly in, out the way, waiting to come out, because that would take too long. But I'm going very quickly onto that. And you might practice it 3/2 and then speed it up until you can make that first note feel like a throwaway note. Okay, and that's the trickiest one of the lot because it's on the same note, but that feel, if I say the third full bar, da-dum, da-dum, that it's really throwaway. And then in our 4th bar, again, we have now the next beat, da. If you're playing it very mathematically, dum, da, da, dum, is exactly how it should be. However, I've talked this over with Karen, and actually how the sound effect that she's after is, again, almost like grace notes. Dum, dum, dum. They're real passing notes. So almost think of it as though that D's even longer. Okay, and it's a feel thing. Won't be the end of the world if you play it mathematically. Dum, 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 dum. But actually it's dum, 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 as though they're just passing through. So those are the sort of areas to work on there as you put it together. Okay.